right, y'all. Symphony the System. That's what you're going by tonight, right?
Yes.
All right. Symphony the System. Put your right hand up and your left hand on your word, wherever you decide your word is, and hold it just like that. Do you solemnly agree we have your permission to post this across all of our social media platforms?
I do solemnly agree.
Is there anything, and I do mean anything, that's off limits you do not want us to ask you about?
No.
If there is something that comes up you don't want us to ask you about, do you understand? You can say no, move on, pass, anything like that.
Yes.
All right, cool. Let's get it.
Okay, literally is no pressure. I'm your host, Bangembugg.
It's your girl, Just K for real. No, it's not. I'm Just K for real.
Okay, and we got a special guest. She already introduced herself, so tell us where you originally from.
Well, I'm from Baltimore, Maryland.
Come on, Maryland.
Yeah,
She didn't say you or do or nothing like that.
No, I don't have an accent from anywhere that I have lived because I grew up in Huntsville, Alabama. I lived there for 12 years.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't.
She from where both of us from.
Really?
Yeah, I'm from Maryland. He from Alabama.
That's so funny.
That's lit.
That's what's up.
That's so funny. Yeah.
We all family.
You seem you got like a northern vibe. Like
Yes, thank you.
Oh, she hated on y'all just now. You felt it?
No, I don't feel no hate. You know, country girls, they just got a certain energy, but
Yeah, no,
y'all both
I was never
got
that.
that up north feel.
Up north field.
Okay, so did you grow up both your parents?
I did.
And what's your relationship like with your dad?
With my dad, it's interesting, I'll say, because my dad's a musician. He's been touring my entire life, like 25 years. And so when he was home, and he had a home studio, so when he was home, it was all music, creativity, and he and I are very like-minded in that way. So pretty much all the time we spent together was talking about our mutual interests. But he also wasn't there most of the time, so I didn't know my dad until I got older. And then I was like, wait, I don't think he was there. Like,
I'm cracking out.
But I also don't really, I say fault him for that because my biggest beef with my dad is that he married my mom. And
Dang.
we don't have the best relationship.
Something wrong with your mama?
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah. So my mom is a special breed of narcissistic.
Ooh.
She's a doctor, PhD. And one of the things that she used to tell us was that she knew more than any doctor at all, ever. And she stood on business with that, would not let us go to other doctors for anything. And when I say any other doctors, I mean any of them. I think I saw the dentist like a couple of times before I was 12.
What kind of
13.
doctor is she?
She is a medical doctor, but she focuses on integrative pain and medicine, meaning when we moved to Huntsville, she worked for sports medicine, helped athletes
She
with
was
their
protecting
joints
too.
and stuff, but she was like, I got it all, I'll do everything. We were like, I mean, I guess, but it went further than just that. It went to our food. We, no dairy, no meat, no nothing allowed in the house.
That's good.
I mean, okay, so
No.
it's not bad to eat healthy. Let me not say that. And I am still vegetarian for the most part.
Nice.
I do like how that helps my lifestyle. My issue was that it wasn't just that we didn't eat other foods, it was that we weren't allowed and were very much taught to fear other foods. And so I have a lot of food phobias now and a couple eating disorders just because I'm convinced that everything I put in my body will give me cancer.
I mean, did she lie?
Not all the way, but how am I supposed to eat?
Fast.
Fast.
Real
quick.
Yeah,
While it's still hot.
I wish, not quickly, like fast as in not eating. Like, I wish that my parents taught me not to eat certain things for real, in retrospect. I'm like that, because now I'm trying to learn how to not eat them.
Yeah.
And they're not good.
I mean, a lot of the reason why I don't eat unhealthy stuff now is because I don't find it appetizing. So I do attribute it to that. But when when I say it's serious, I mean, I started figuring out my mental health when I was 18. I wasn't allowed to see any mental health professionals before that. So I didn't get diagnosed with anything. what I did, I got diagnosed with PTSD, dissociative identity disorder, depression, anxiety. They were like, whoa, what's going on over here? Found out that my mom has Munchausen's by proxy, meaning that she would project illnesses onto me and be like, you have that, and then trick me for it. And then I'd be convinced I had it. And live my life like that. And then it's a psychosomatic thing. So my brain would convince my body, hey, you're experiencing these symptoms. I thought I was allergic to stuff that I wasn't allergic to, and was still having those symptoms afterwards until I started healing from the trauma. Allergies went away. So.
How do you do that? Because I think I might need to do women like that. Make them think.
Oh my God.
Like freedom for it. Like, how does she do that? Because I need to learn.
I'm not sharing her secrets.
I read a lot of manipulation stuff and psychology. So
I know. So does she. She had what's that one book? Oh my gosh, the something Laws of Power.
Okay, I was about to say
Laws of Power. Yeah. All the books that are in that category, I had
a shelf for it.
Whole shelf for her. So when I got older and learned what they're about, I was like, oh, okay.
With your dad, you said that when you got older, you felt like, oh, you don't really know him. But for y'all's interactions to be that powerful for you to think that you know him, do you really think that makes him absent?
I don't, because I've never considered him an absent father. I consider him an emotionally absent father.
Okay.
Because when he was there, it's not like I could go to him for anything serious. But I knew that if I needed him to duet with me on a song real quick, I needed him to back me up for a performance. I could count him for that for sure. You know, a ride to work maybe. But
he was a good friend.
He was a good friend. Yeah, that's how I felt about my parents. Like when it came to parent role, God knows what was going on over there. But they did seem to treat us on a certain level, and I don't even know if I'm mad at this. Like we were adults when we were kids. Like, yes, I'm upset for my child brain developing in a very strange way as an adult, but I am a very interesting person now, so what can I say?
Right? It's like, love it.
Yeah, they kind of ate when they made me, I'm not gonna lie.
So did you ever go to him, or you just felt like you couldn't go to him?
I went to him a lot. My dad, I always joke, not just me and my sister and my cousins, we joke that he has varying levels of reactions, but all with the same word, wow. So you'll be like, Dad, man, like my friend just got in a car accident. He's like, wow. But then that's it, you know? You're like, okay. Or you're like, hey Dad, I got an A+ on my test. He's like, wow. Okay, cool. And then you're like, you know, do you see this really crazy post on Instagram? Wow.
That's annoying.
And we're just like, all right.
Bro, give me some words.
Give me some, you know, energy. Yeah. Or, you know, we also used to joke that we could ask him anything while he was at his computer. I asked him for his car keys one time. I asked him just for a car. And he's just like, yeah, sure, honey. Like, all right, cool. The icing on the cake for me, my sister actually, was both of my parents would do it, but my dad, I guess we thought it was funnier for some reason. I was at the dinner table with me and my sister, and my best friend was over for the first time, and I was like, watch this. Me and my sister were like, I was just smoking weed in the bathroom this morning. And she's like, yeah? She's like, I'm gay. I was like, really? Me too. My parents are right there talking back and forth. And my best friend is like trembling, because like, how are y'all gonna say that in front of them? Didn't spare us a single glance. Wow. At one point, we thought me and my mom was pretending not to listen, but then we said something very specifically about that. She didn't make a reaction. We were like, oh, well, yeah, like I said, they're not listening to us.
What?
So,
do you know what they were talking about?
God knows.
They was having some good conversations.
Good conversation, though. I don't know what they were talking about, but they be really into it.
Did they have a good relationship?
I don't know. Like, I always said that my parents talked to each other like coworkers. And they have been open about issues they had in their marriage. Like my dad did an album about it. And they did a video series to go with the album where they talked about how my mom was like, I was about to leave, but he was praying for me. I was very religious. He was praying for me, and I was like, I can't leave him while he's praying. And so she stayed. And then somehow they worked it out, but that, you know, people used to ask her, how do you guys do it when he's away all the time? And she was thinking that's how she did it, because he was away all the time. but that, you know, they prayed and they asked God to change them, each other, or themselves as opposed to each other, and that their marriage was perfect after that. Now, I can't attest to the perfection of their marriage, but actually, I can attest to the opposite. But I can say that they are still together.
Thugging it.
So.
Well, they right for each other.
I'm trying to tell you.
You make it work, shit. Y'all was right for each other.
Business.
So, so did you ever like see a man that you would like when you was younger, till you would know what kind of guy you wanted? Cause like, do you want to be married and always be on the road? So how do you want to live your life?
I used to want to marry my dad when I was little.
Good.
When I was a little kid, I just thought he was the most incredible man on the planet. And my boyfriend now is a lot like my dad, so I get it. He's a creative, he's a painter, and he's a poet.
Is he broke?
Random question.
Okay.
No.
You know, ours used to be broke.
Well, he works in the same job I do, so I mean, he's broke as I am.
Yeah, match.
But that wasn't always the case. I just got really on the same kind of level he's been for the last couple. We've been together 5 years, so yeah.
What's the secret?
Open communication and working on your mental health.
I think she really liked him. When a woman really likes you.
I mean, I do really like him too. I do really like him, but I think that's also like the basis. Like that's kind of the bare minimum. If you're not dating people you like, what are you doing?
No, I'm saying people
Finding
be
out you
fucked
don't
up,
like
struggling, and they just,
Yeah.
you know, people just be on survival mode. So
Yeah.
whatever's like they can survive, they'll fuck with you. So that's kind of like the
well,
move right here.
I can't say that I've always been like everything is great and perfect and fine and dandy, but I have always been like, damn, I don't want to let this guy go.
Aww.
Yeah. Because he is really a great guy whenever it comes to it. Like, we've dealt with some very wild experiences over the span of our relationship.
Like what?
God, like, we had a roommate one time who was his dad's sister, not blood sister, but one of those friends, kind of, sort of. And he was living with her for a while when I stopped having a place to live. And so I was like, can I move in with you? And he was like, yes, obviously. And she was really nice to me, really sweet to me when I got there. The first thing she did was give me a giant ass glass of wine. When I say giant, I mean like this thing was like, she poured the whole damn bottle in the glass. I was like, okay.
My favorite kind of glass.
Cool. Yeah, so, you know, I'm sipping, you know, I'm watching her play video games. And she comes out and says something like, your girl doesn't want you to play video games while you're here. Mind you, I do.
Right.
I was like, no, I'm glad he's doing that, you know. But when she said it, it was like, it made me feel weird. I didn't think too much of it because, you know, she was chilling. Over the span of the next couple months that we lived there, she started doing weird shit. Like, she didn't have a car. Both of us had cars. And she would ask for rides to work. And eventually, you know, or, you know, to the store or something, eventually it got too frequent where I would just be like, hey, you know, I trust you, obviously. You can take my keys to go to Dollar Tree for 5 minutes down the street and come back. One day, I asked her to go to the bank with me because I didn't have a bank account. She did. I needed to deposit my money into a bank account so we could pay some bills or something. She was like, yeah, sure. I knew the bank closed at 7. So at like 5 o'clock, I'm like, I'm gonna charge my phone real quick. Let me get ready to go. She was in her room chilling. She wasn't even dressed. I was like, all right, she should be fine. At like 6 o'clock, I go in her room and she's gone. I'm like, wait, hold on. And I go outside. My car is gone. I'm like, the fuck? And so I text her. I call her. And I'm like, you know, she didn't pick up. I text her again. I might get my boyfriend to call her. She's not picking up. She finally does pick up. I'm like, excuse you?
Right.
And she was like, oh, the bank's closed. I was like, no, it's not. And she's like, the one I go to is. And I was like, well, I wasn't going to that one. Come back. She's like, oh, I had to go drop off my coworker's charger that I borrowed or something. And I was like, she's like, I'll come back. And I was like, okay. Wait a couple minutes. No car. Call her back. No answer. Keep calling her. I called for my boyfriend's phone again. I want to say we called her a total of like 20, 25 times over the span that night, in which, in the couple of times she did pick up, said that she had almost to the coworker's place, that she was about to leave the coworker's place, that she was going to meet me at the bank before it closed, and then finally that her phone had dropped in between the seats, and that's why she didn't get my calls. Went to the bank, wasn't there. I ended up setting up my own bank account.
I know, that's right.
It was like, girl. When I got home, she still wasn't back. I was like, that's really crazy that you've been gone my car for this long. It was like 2-3 hours. When she finally gets home, she comes to the door, I go to approach her. And in the car, before I got back home, I already texted her. I was like, hey, don't ever do that again. And she was like, okay. But when she got home, she was like, I didn't really appreciate. She was like, I didn't really appreciate how you told me not to take your car. It's not like, I'm not gonna bring it back. I was like, well, I don't appreciate that you took my car, so
right.
But then she was mad about it. She started doing shady shit, like I suspect she was cutting the water off and cutting the power off, but then telling us that a shady landlord was doing it, because if we were like, oh, I can't pay it, it would magically turn back on if she was in the place. If she wasn't, it'd be off. The longest she left us out with the water was a month. We were going to friends' houses and gyms and stuff to do showers and shit. It was living in Mapleton at the time. Eventually we went, you know what, fuck this, because I was working at P.F. Chang's. He was working at a doggy daycare, like 12, 14-hour day shifts, 5-6 days a week. And eventually we both came to each other and were like, we're gonna have to leave. Like, we're just gonna have to leave.
Basically.
But with the money that we were pouring, it was thousands of dollars basically into this place. So we didn't have any savings to go into a new place. So the only option was to move into the car. And so I was like, all right, if I'm gonna do that, I'm also not gonna be quiet about it because I asked my family for help. And they were like, oh no, you're gonna move to your car. My aunt tried to make me go to a homeless shelter. I was like, no.
Dang, ain't nobody had no couch. Okay, it'd be like that.
I grew up in $1 million house. They got more than couches.
What?
Like, nobody would help me. I said, oh, okay. I took the internet and I was like, just want to let y'all know that because of the situation, because I've been talking about my roommate before. Just want to let y'all know with this roommate situation, we're going to move into our car. If you guys would like to help, here's my GoFundMe. And my followers and fans donated $500 to $600 in 3-4 hours. And we stayed in the hotel that first night. First couple nights, actually.
Oh, nice.
And then my boyfriend's mom helped us out with the hotel. And then, so for most of the time we were living in the car, we were staying in hotels. But for a month and a half, and we told each other, we're like, we're gonna be in this car for a month at a max 2. And the second month we moved out like February 18th, signed the lease and moved in for our first apartment April 22nd.
Good for y'all. Ride or die.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what happened to the girl? Y'all fight her yet? I mean,
You still what? Fight who? Oh, homegirl? Nah, we should have. Honestly, I thought about calling the cops, but I think that my boyfriend, because that was his dad's friend, family, whatever she was, he didn't want to cause any mess with that.
They ain't help either. She would have got called on.
But apparently his dad didn't know it was all like that, so I don't know what happened with her or what's going on with her now. But I haven't heard nor spoken to her since then. I think she tried to ask for money. I was like, girl, absolutely not.
Child back. Turn that water back on. How you
and
know
then
how
my
to do it.
uncle stole my car. Yeah, I just had so many issues. He gave me the car. He took it back, held it hostage with all my stuff in it. And my boyfriend had to literally hunt him down. Like it was on some like espionage shit. He had to call, pretend to be somebody else, so he could call the pickups, the fucking tow truck, because the tow truck company was my cousin and he was working with my uncle. And I was literally so good. My uncle called and cussed me out for being homeless. I was like, what in the entire fuck is going on? And you can keep the car, keep that shit. My best friend gave me one immediately afterwards, and we just went.
That's a good friend.
Right about on our merry way.
That's a beautiful.
But yeah, we've been through some shit. That's like in the last 2 years, 3 years.
So when y'all get married?
When are we getting married? We were engaged first.
Go further back. There you go. Up. Back somewhere. Boom. Back. You feel
it's
it?
Like
back some. It's like on your neck and not in the hair.
A little bit.
Back.
A little
Right there.
I'm
almost there.
I feel like you need a mirror or something.
There it is.
Oh, you got it.
You said y'all gotta be engaged first?
No, we were engaged first.
Mm-hmm.
He proposed to me when we first started dating. Like.
Sound like Bug.
4 years ago.
I ain't never done that.
I you over here talking about manipulating women. I don't know about that.
Man, he be ready to love him. I like them shoes. Yeah.
Oh, I love these shoes. Same place. Same place I got this from. I got these shoes from.
Yes.
I love that.
I got a bag like that. You do be with it. You be with. They be in your house after the second day. They can swipe the card.
No, they don't do that. I mean, I'm nice though, so most of the time if I'm around most people, they be like, I'm fucked up. I like, you can come here. Like, if my friends used to tell me, if I was like, bro, you can come here. I just always been like that. So when I meet women and they be like, they fucked up, I'm like, you can come here, that's cool.
If I get an RV, can I park it in your driveway?
I don't know, they got like rules. You
They
probably
do?
can. You know, I got
Like
the
a
Never
neighborhood or
HOA.
something?
yeah. So yeah, I think you can. It just probably can't. It can't be over the sidewalk.
Okay. I'm gonna keep that in mind.
I want to
Look
say
at
I've
this sign.
seen some RVs parked in driveways before too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need a small one.
I want an RV.
Yeah, you can't have tractors though.
I don't.
I drove home.
A tractor?
You know the 18
Why would you
wheeler.
have-
Oh, okay, the
They be
trailer.
like, yeah, you can't have them over here. We gonna get it towed. So they got all that
Dang.
bullshit.
I can't stand HOA.
Yeah, I need some land.
Okay.
Okay. It's supposed to say turn your words into wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not words, wounds into wisdom. So I guess a wound you turned into wisdom.
Okay. Well, I talked a little bit about my parents earlier, and I will answer any questions about them if you want details. But, yeah, I'm a child abuse victim, not just I got beat with my parents. And so I spent a lot of my life bottling in every feeling, every thought that wasn't like theirs, in order to be loved or liked or accepted or cherished, which wasn't working anyways. And so when little bits of who I really was would slip out and I would get in trouble for it or I would get punished for it, I would be like, oop, and tuck that right away and hide it again. So the wisdom I turned that wound into, that wound of hiding who I truly am, is that never will I ever do that again. It doesn't matter where I'm at or with who. I've gotta come as me, like I said when I sat down. Cause I started my outfit and I was like, I'm bored. I just put on this black dress and then I was gonna, put some shoes on, and that's cute, I'm sure. But I gotta be a little strange, cause that's who I am.
Okay, with this
Like
quote, she kind of goes into what you saying. Now, this quote said, I was ashamed of myself when I realized life was a costume party, and I attended it with my real face. So, like, I guess as far as, like, the industry, so, like, are you gonna be yourself, or, like, put on a front, or are you gonna, like, how you gonna be?
No fronts. I'm always gonna be myself, whatever that looks like, cause I said earlier I didn't get diagnosed until I was 18. My DID is dissociative identity disorder, what used to be called multiple personality disorder. And it's not anymore because the main symptom is dissociation, the disconnection from reality. Most of my reality right now, I don't feel like none of this is real. That's my basis of existence. I think I have come to reality 2 or 3 times in my life that I can think of, and it was with the help of professionals and lots of drugs that I do not want to be taking every day. So I don't, because I'm still able to function. I'm not hurting anybody or myself, and I haven't ever been quiet about that. Every performance that I do, I open with, I'm Symphony System, and I am Symphony System because I got diagnosed with DID in 2019, and I started calling myself Symphony because all of my parts create like
a harmony.
Yeah.
Nice. That's dope.
Thank you.
That was poetic right there.
Thank you.
So you just made that up, or you, like, somebody
No,
gave it to
I
you?
really do. That's not my government name, but it is what I started going by after I got diagnosed. Because my government name, it always felt weird, and I got called a lot. Like, there was some, and I don't mind saying it, it's Annalise, which is a beautiful name.
It is.
It's a beautiful name, but it became a burden pretty quickly. My mom used to tell me all the time, near constantly, that my name is consecrated, gracious and consecrated to God, which just meant that every single thing I'm gonna have to do for the rest of my life has to be holy. Otherwise, I'm desecrating my name. That's a lot of pressure. And so she would remind me of that anytime I encountered things. And then change the pronunciation of my name out of nowhere. Like, I just told you my name's Annalise. I didn't know that till I was 12. I was introduced as Annalise to everyone until one day I went, my name's Anna. My mom went, no, it's not. It's Annalise. And I was like, okay. I started doing that. But then I had friends who met me as Anna, so they refused to call me Anna. Then I had new friends that met me as Anna, so wouldn't call me Anna. And then I had an aunt that always called me Annalise because she was like, well, I was the one who named you. I had another aunt who called me by my middle name, London, all the time. I had another friend or another teacher who called me Princess Anna, which kind of changed the way I felt about my name for a while. And then I started going by Lyric because that was my singer name. And I just had so many different names. I changed my Instagram handle a million times.
Those are different people in there.
Yeah.
No, we not her no more.
Not that. And so, as an adult, when I look back and I look at all the different names I've used, I'm like, oh, like I still meet people who call me by names, and I can be like, oh, you knew me when I was them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's harder to fall in love with somebody who got so many personalities?
No, I don't. There's more to love, I would say, because, well, I'll tell you in the words of my boyfriend, because we started dating before I got diagnosed, and I got diagnosed about 2 years after we started dating, which made a lot of things make sense, because I would say stuff that was completely contradictory sometimes, but that it's like all the different people that you could hope to meet are in one person. So, if you're bored, quote unquote, with, your day-to-day life, don't get used to it, because it's probably not going to be like this tomorrow. Probably not going to be like this in the next couple hours. So.
I was going to say it's thrilling.
Yeah, it's really thrilling. He's like, I never know what to expect, but it's always interesting. Like, you should have seen the way he was hyping up my outfit before I left.
Okay.
So is he mentally stable, or he got stuff going on?
I know it'd be the phrasing sometimes.
Yeah, I know, that's so funny. I don't think anybody in my life is mentally stable, but that is because I attract like-minded people.
I'm crying.
But
that's
honestly,
gotta go on a shirt.
If you
that's one on a shirt for sure.
But I think that if he was sane, we wouldn't get along.
Nah, for real, because you'd be frustrated.
Oh, yeah. And even as it is, because, he obviously doesn't have multiple personalities, but he's able to match the energy of the different parts of me very easily.
How?
More masculine parts, he has no problem, broing it out with them. He's still attracted to the parts of me that are gayer, for lack of a better word. So, I have a girlfriend as well, and so sometimes I'll dress more mask. And he's not like, oh, you look like a man and now I can't talk to you. He'll still fuck with me like that too. So,
in there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what I look like.
Does he date you and your girlfriend?
Yeah.
That's lit. I'd be in there too.
So he allowed to have a boyfriend?
I don't think he would, ever.
But would you allow it though?
Of course. I would encourage it.
Oh, she's
you
different.
Like
do I like what?
Sissies?
What are you saying?
Like you like gay men.
Oh, is that what he's calling them?
Sissy.
I wouldn't call him that, no.
Well, that's derogatory?
Yeah.
Sissy's not derogatory.
It is.
Sissy is derogatory? That's a girl. That's like a girl
If I called you a sissy right now, how would you feel?
I wouldn't bother me. I'm not a sissy.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like
weird take.
I don't know. It depends on who care. I mean, and it depends on who you say it to. Because like gay men call each other sis and girl and bitch.
Yeah,
and
but
like
that's
that.
different from
But-
sissy. Like, I'll say that, and even I'll say other gay people call each other fag and faggot. But
I don't say
only we can say that.
Yeah.
Only we say that to each other. But I'll just say this: I'm pansexual. I like everybody. So, it doesn't matter to me. I have dated and slept with every gender, I think, so far.
Only
As
two,
far
like,
as I know.
what you mean?
Nah, the mixed ones like
said the mixed ones.
transgender.
Only two though.
Non-binary, trans
Right.
women, trans men.
That's made up. It's only two genders.
That's
It's
your
it's real
opinion.
when it's a
I'm not about
when
to
it's a
argue
girl
with you
who
about
get
it.
a penis or a man who get a coochie.
It's still like you, whatever you born, that's what you are.
I'm not about to argue this.
Oh, okay,
right now,
I guess.
But I will say, like I said, I've had sex with all the genders.
So how many do you know? I mean, how many does exist to y'all?
How many exist?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put a number on it.
I was about to say they could call themselves a damn I don't know.
Yeah, but
An
it's
exclamation
also,
point, and they gonna be that.
but the reason why is because it's none of my business. Like it's just none of my
Fair.
business. And it doesn't matter to me what you identify it as. It just matters. Do you want to fuck me the way I want to fuck you? If the answer is yes, then we're gonna fuck.
But you don't think that's kind of crazy? Like now, if I was like, I identify as your boyfriend, and you need to address me as that, you wouldn't find that crazy?
My girlfriend is non-binary and has boobs and a vagina, but identifies as they, them, and sometimes he, him. But still wants to be called my girlfriend. So that's my girlfriend. But I won't say she when I'm talking about my girlfriend.
But
I'm
no,
saying,
he's saying if he decides right now he your boyfriend, like
yeah, I
he is
identify as your boyfriend. I want to
a
fuck.
boyfriend's
man.
not sexuality.
I'm saying I feel like you identifying as something else besides you what you are is like that's kind of like it's a little
just
crazy.
claiming a title, basically any title.
Or like you go to your job, I identify as the
So
supervisor.
the difference in your example when you use is that identifying as my boyfriend has something to do with me. But if you just decided to identify as a woman, that doesn't have shit to do with me. That would be your prerogative.
So if I say I identify as a 10-year-old, then I go fuck a 10-year-old, but it ain't got
That's
shit to do with you. But it ain't got shit to do with you though.
That has something to do with another child.
What I'm saying
So it
ain't
has
nothing to do with you
But it
though.
has something to do with that child. Yeah.
Oh.
So
Okay, yeah, okay.
it just
She's
means
talking
the
about
other person.
either way, if you intertwine somebody into it, it's like
yeah.
that's what it is. So
But
if you
that's-
decide
I'm
you're
saying-
a 10-year-old and you don't do anything except act like a 10-year-old,
But I'm saying you
that's on you.
intertwining with like, you know, some dudes who act like girls, they don't want you to know. So they like lying to you. So that's you intertwining somebody else by saying I'm something.
They're not
You know what I'm
lying to you. I think they're protecting themselves. Did you know how high the murder rate is for trans people in this country? It's like 80%.
That would still be a lie with a reason though.
The liable reason being they're just walking around. Most of these trans murders are not, oh, we slept together and now I'm mad, so I'm gonna kill you because I didn't know you were a man when we slept together. It's you're walking around and I don't think trans people should exist, so I'm gonna kill you.
It
I'm
sometimes
saying
be both
you
ways.
just that's what you thinking. It's not like how would you know that's the answer
Because
to what
that's
you're saying.
that's what happens. Like I can Google right now in a case of a trans murder that just happened.
But I'm saying that's
It was
just like
just
a
them
lot of
walking
cases.
around.
So all the cases are saying that's what happened. You saying?
That's what the police are saying. That's what the evidence is saying. That's what the video foot evidence is saying.
What you think, Taylor?
You know, I don't generalize any situation. I know that there are both parts. Like I've seen the side where a man will pretend to be a woman for as long as possible, and then the guy who they're dealing with has to find out later on, and then that's an issue.
Oh yeah.
And then I've seen the issue where just because a trans person or a gay person is walking down the street, a heterosexual person has to say, "Oh, I can't stand gays" or something like that, when it has nothing to do with. They're not looking at you. They're not talking to you.
And
so why does it matter?
don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that no trans person ever has been like, I'm gonna lie for a malicious reason. I'm just saying that for you to generalize the entire community from that basis would be like if I generalized the entire heterosexual community by the men that do that.
We be doing that, don't
I'm
lie.
saying you just
Bitches be
generalize.
like, girl, bitches be like, you know, I mean,
I don't
something
do
like
that.
but
Me specifically, I don't.
you gonna do it in a little bit.
I am? You think?
Yeah,
We'll see.
we will see. Because that's just how we are as humans. We generalize stuff. I try not to, like I said, but that's just how we are based on our experiences. You know, you might be like, well, artists are blah, 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 because you dealt with certain artists who act this way.
I agree. I agree.
But
I think there's always nuance.
Yeah, for sure.
There's always levels to
sure.
it.
That's how when I grew up, my dad used to be like, he don't like faggots. So that was always okay.
What you heard, yeah.
And my mom had a gay friend. He was like, he can't be around. And then like I remember when I got old.
She was trying to protect him. Or
no,
he just don't like being around.
No, his dad wouldn't. Let
his dad said he can't be around.
Yeah.
I thought you said your mom did. Never mind.
And then I remember when we left town and came back, and his name was Sissy Mickey.
My mom had a friend named Frankie Sean.
So when I used to see him, he'll be like, "Hey, Junebug," and I look at him. And he told my mama, and she was like, "She can't control that. He don't have to speak to you." But
I used to stick my tongue out at Frankie Sean. They used to be like, "Oh, she always act like," but I used to do it because I heard them talk about it, so I thought it was like funny. So I act like I didn't like it.
When I was in school, I didn't know it was a slur.
Yeah,
that was all.
But that wasn't
all
a
the
thing
kids
for us.
My
back
boys
then.
in my class call each other.
Yeah, that wasn't a thing for us back then. Now everything is very sensitive. Cool, everybody got feelings, but back then it was like whatever. Like Faggy Sean was his name.
I don't even think it's that. I think that because sometimes I go back and I look at gay history and I see how in a video of a trans person talking about themselves called himself a tranny. And I was like, okay. But it's not because, that was okay, or even that, now people are more sensitive. It's just that because that was the era they were in, they were like, so that you understand me, I'm gonna say what you know. But now because knowledge, we have the era of Google and stuff, and now you can Google one time and find out that something's a slur. It's just like out of common decency. It's like if you know that's something that would hurt somebody like me, why would you say it to me?
Oh, that bother you?
Sissy, no. I just don't like hearing it. I'll say that. Yeah. I think only specifically with men do I get that way though. So it might be
heterosexual men.
Heterosexual men, I do. Yeah.
Only time I change it, like if I knew I was gonna be around you a lot, like I change up how I talk.
And then I would appreciate
but
that.
But if it's just like I just can't continue to be myself, but if you get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
It's like, yeah, I can do this for you since we cool. You know?
And I mean, and that's really all I would ask for.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to change yourself.
Okay, we all come with our stuff today. Yeah. Everybody's at the table as their self.
Yeah.
I don't even know who myself is yet.
I mean, does anybody?
I'm trying to tell you.
I think I know.
You think you know?
That's good.
I would love to hear actually from somebody who knows. I haven't asked anybody that knows yet.
As far as like what I'm supposed to be, or
who are you? Like, what's your identity?
I'm me. Like I feel like I'm supposed to be something along to what my dad is, but it's just like I like this entertainment shit.
Yeah.
Like a father.
Yeah.
Like somebody who dedicated to their family. Like,
okay.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I just want to clap.
Right.
I always thought my dad was like a Superman. Like he was like a superhero. So
yeah.
Still be on it. Okay. The last tears from weakness and the last tears from happiness.
Ooh, I have to think about that.
Take your time.
Because I'm just thinking. Like, take a second because I cry so often. At everything, and I cry very easily.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay.
But I've always cried. I always cry. I'm also autistic. I'm on the spectrum. So I'm hypersensitive to damn near everything. Anyways, probably why I reacted the way to you. But I also cried a lot. So I feel like I cried today because my boyfriend brought me a white chocolate Reese's cup, and I really love white chocolate Reese's. I didn't ask him for it, so it coming at the right time. It's like, wow.
That'd be me on my period or
Yeah,
something.
I just thought of it too. So
okay, yes.
And then the last tears from weakness. Oh gosh, hold on, let me check my notes because I be writing when I'm in my feelings, and I'm sure. Oh yeah.
My notes on my phone go to deaf ears.
I don't want to say weakness, but I will say weakness because it made me angry and feel weak. I was at work, and I remembered that if I didn't stay there, I would have money. And I was like, yo, this really pisses me off. And then I got angrier because I was like, there are countries that have free healthcare.
Come on.
And paid leave for mental health issues and, you know, all kinds of help for people. And I'm in America.
Yep.
Where the government's like, I mean, I don't think food is a human right.
Either. No.
Like, what?
I feel like food that grown in land is human, right?
That's all food.
That's all. I mean, I'm not saying.
A lot of food is like processed shit.
But
like
I'm saying, I mean, processed shit, yeah. Well, but I'm not talking about that. I'm saying every person on this planet has the right to eat enough to survive. Whatever it is.
Brown. Y'all charging us for apples?
Whatever. What the fuck is that? This shit goes off the ground. I made a TikTok about it because I was like, I'm mad. And I was like, it's my body, first of all. It's crazy that I am paying money to take it places in the city. And that I'm paying money to make sure it can get up and go and do other stuff. Not even thinking about the money to buy clothes or you know, I don't know, random shit like jewelry. Scratch that. I gotta pay for the things that make my body go. Water.
Everybody should just quit on it.
What the fuck? Yes, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. If everybody stopped, what are they gonna do?
I heard it was illegal. They said a guy was collecting rainwater.
Yes, it's illegal to collect rainwater. Are you dead ass? That shit was out of the sky.
They made it illegal. There was a person who kept planting fruit trees outside so that people could have something to eat and stuff.
They cut that shit down.
They made it illegal. Yeah, they take the trees down and made it that it's illegal. So
And
we're in a place that does not want to take care of it.
They don't want us to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's one thing to be like, well, we want you guys to work for your own food. It's another to keep us from doing that too.
Yeah,
and then be like,
somebody giving it to
you.
you.
That. Like, what do you mean?
They want everything taxed, basically.
Everything.
And that's
so
the only reason why weed is illegal now, because they can't tax that. It's another plan. They're trying to figure it out though.
Nah, it's getting there. They just creating the weed now though.
They're like, well,
it's not real weed no more.
Synthetic.
It don't have sticks. It don't have seeds and stems.
Weird.
It's created.
Okay. The most difficult person who was hard to leave alone and why? Your side dudes or whatever.
I got a guess, but I don't want to say it till she says it.
Because I'm trying to debate between which one I'm gonna say, because there is one that was definitely a lot harder. I think you're gonna be right. It is my mom. Yeah. I was psychic. I knew her. And I say that because although when I say she's mean to me, I'm not trying to dumb it down. I just mean like there's no other way to explain how she be talking to me sometimes. She'd be like, yeah, you're fat.
Where?
What do you mean? I'm less than 100 pounds. I'm so serious. So when you say that, you're just trying to make me upset. It's not gonna work because again, I know I'm not fat. But like, damn, now I'm hurt because why is my mom trying to make me upset?
Why ain't you playing to it though? Like, yeah, I'm fat. Okay. Like,
so I did. That's what I did. I was like, so in the moment, right? Because I never. If I give it to her, she feeds off that. I learned that as a kid. So as an adult, she says that shit to me. I'm like, thanks, and I laugh it off and I keep it moving. But it's shit that makes me go, and that's why we don't talk, because or that's why I'm not coming home for Christmas, because you're gonna be saying like shit like that casually. And then sometimes it's weird shit. I wouldn't say she's fat, but my best friend said to say she was fat, so I'll just leave it at that.
But if
so you think she deflects?
I think she's envious of me. I think that she's always, and it comes out in other stuff that she says, because it's either mean stuff or it's weird shit. Like, she'll be like, last time I saw her, she came here, she was like, you look like you're wearing a really nice bra. And I was like, yeah. I am.
Right.
I bought a new bra, but like, why are you saying that to me? Another time she texted me, why do you think you deserve rough sex? Unprovoked, out of the blue, not because we were talking about sex at all.
What? Were you posting about it?
No, I had texted her and I said that beating your kids is wrong. And I sent her some articles I had been reading that were like, hey, scientists just proven it because it like fucks with the kid's brain. They don't register it the same way that we register pain and stuff like that. And that it can fuck with the way that your sexuality grows. and I mentioned for half a second that it can make you like crave dangerous sex or something like that. But then I continue to want to say other stuff like it ruined my relationship with you, blah blah blah, whatever. She responded to that message with, I love you and I support you and I want you to grow or whatever. And then she responded again a couple days later with more affirmations. And then 2 days later, why do you think you deserve rough sex? I sat straight up in my bed. I was like, what? When did I say that? Did I say that? I had to go back and look at my message, and I was like, I didn't say that. So why did you say that?
That's what she took from it.
That's what she could be having fun with it. Like, she just say whatever.
She just say whatever. At this point, when I told her, before I got diagnosed, this is why my aunt and uncle took me to the hospital, because I was suicidal. I told my mom that I was suicidal. And she was like, well, if it makes you feel better, you were in an accident.
Huh?
Which is not true, because she had a miscarriage before me and had been trying to have kids for like 2 years. So I was like, why would you say that?
How was were her parents like really, really loving, or was her parent?
They couldn't have been.
Her dad was evil.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad was evil.
So she probably don't really know how to express.
Which she said a lot.
Yeah.
And I would give it to her if I didn't see her do it perfectly to other young women in my general vicinity.
But not her children.
But not her, not me. Like my sister, sometimes, way more than me for sure. To the point where when I left, my sister was like, "I know that you don't have a good relationship with her, but like, I don't know what you're talking about." Pretty much. She's now 20. She's trying to get the fuck out of there. But it took her up until now to be like, "Oh my god, she's kind of crazy," and I was like, "Yeah, girl." Yeah, girl.
So what's her diagnosis? Because she
doesn't have one. My mom refuses.
She only goes to herself.
She goes exactly. I have damn near begged her to get some therapy. Go check it out. Just go figure something out. God damn.
Why don't you diagnose her? Like, do some shit.
I will.
Yeah, I read up on this.
So you should start responding that way when she says stuff to you. Like
that's what a narcissist would say.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking you were a narcissist.
No, so I did tell her that it did not go well when I said narcissist, because she called me a narcissist, and I was like, okay.
You should have responded just like, yeah, that's what
a narcissist
was saying.
I think I responded with, yeah, you're not supposed to tell a narcissist that they're a narcissist because they'll get upset. And since she was upset, like, there was nothing we could do about that. And you're right, calling her out in the midst of it has been my only like successful attempt to get her to stop, because then she's like, oh fuck, like what am I supposed to do now?
Force field.
Yeah. But what I will say, I've gathered pieces, because my medical professionals can't diagnose her for me without like breaking HIPAA laws, but they can help me lean in the direction of what they think is going on. So like the first therapy session I was talking about my mom, I was telling her about one of my alters because I just figured out, I was like, well, there's a round table in my head and there's different parts of me, and sometimes I be acting way different. One of them is low-key evil. She's very mean to people and to me, and she's very sexual, and she's a psychopath, and she's just like my mom. And my therapist said, say that one more time. And I said it slowly, and when I got to the "and she's just like my mom" part, she was like, okay. And then I was like, okay. And then we moved on from that conversation. Later, my most recent therapist, because I had to go back home, and it was a lot, I ended up in the hospital, vomiting up blood for 13 hours, because my body does not like being in her presence. And when I was telling my therapist about it, she was like, tell me about some of the stuff that happened, because that's a very violent physical reaction. And when I did, she was like, I just need you to know that your mom does not like you, like at all. She actually wants you to fail, and that's why you keep running into her actively sabotaging you. So please stop. Which is not the first time I heard that. All my doctors and social workers, they sent CPS to my house, first of all, after I got diagnosed. And then they went, please, whatever you do not go back to that house. And I did, twice, because I didn't believe them. I was like, there's no way it could have been that bad. It was. I just was like...
Their interaction with her?
They never even met her. They were just like, you don't get this kind of PTSD and from just being with your mom unless she is like a dangerous person, a danger to society type vibe, like Criminal Minds level.
And she's a doctor.
Ooh. And somebody did almost die last year because they were listening to Turkish. Now She hasn't been able to keep a job lately. She has been, although allegedly she left these jobs of her own will, she started her own practice. It wasn't working, kind of. So now she's online. She's doing that. But a lady, I found this out from like a distant friend, a friend that I have, whose mom was like, "That's your mom, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" She was like, "I have a friend who lives in California who's doing your mom's like diet program, who just got rushed to the ER with multiple organ failure, because she was only insisting on eating the recipes that your mom was prescribing her." Insane. I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? I also was at the house to visit, saw her feeding my dog garlic. It kills dogs. You're not supposed to give your dog garlic. And when I brought it up to her, I was like, "Hey, didn't you know that?" She was like, "Oh, no." And to this day, is still putting garlic in his food because, well, he won't eat it if it's not in there. But she's also the only one in the house with a dog that she kind of only really wanted because he's gorgeous. So now that she's entirely responsible for feeding him and walking him and grooming him and stuff, she probably is trying to get rid of him. My dad is suspiciously in school in Birmingham, so he doesn't really live at home right now. And I say suspiciously because it happened when I went back. He just went, "Oh yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to move because I'm gonna be going to school in a different state." I was like, "Okay."
You went home and your dad left?
Mm-hmm.
You feel like he left because you was there?
I feel like he left because that was the only way he could get away from my mom.
Because somebody else is there.
Somebody else was there. Because his mom was up there too. And my younger sister.
Where are they?
Huntsville.
Okay, in Alabama.
Mm-hmm. And so when I went back, I didn't feel like my dad was leaving me. I felt like he was saving himself.
He was escaping.
He was saving himself. I found a song that we wrote together when I was like, well, I say wrote together because he says wrote together and he tells everybody we wrote the song together. I have no recollection of adding to the song. I remember him telling me about it and me being like, "Yeah, that sounds good."
Right.
And him being like, "Okay, cool, that's gonna be the song." The song's called Rescue Me. And I was listening to the lyrics the other day and I was like, you know, I thought this was a song about like, because he pitched it and he told us about the song that it was about like the state of the world and how, you know, he was just kind of looking to God, you know, rescue me from, you know, war and stuff like that. But the actual lyrics are like, "Close the door, dim the lights, no more worshiping tonight. I'm so afraid that this nightmare might be real. A flash of light, the sting of steel. The sting of hate to make me feel that I'll never see the light again, feel safe again, but hate will never win, only love can rescue me." And then the second verse is, "An open door, I thought a friend, but I had let the danger in." What is it? I don't remember, but point being, I was listening back to these lyrics like, and you said you and me wrote this song together and you've been telling people that? And nobody went, "Are you okay?"
Okay, right. Is the girl okay?
Like, is the child
Is the
okay?
child?
But then I, at the same time, had just started singing Negro spirituals in church a lot. And the only song I would sing was Motherless Child. And my aunt was going, "Why is this 10-year-old singing Motherless Child with all the soul of someone
feeling it,
who
child.
feels it?" And so once I left the house, I found out from various people around our family that they were like, "Yeah, we always were kind of a little bit worried." And I was like, "Why didn't you do something? Oh my God, I thought nobody knew."
We kind of knew.
So your mom, like, she considered a psychopath?
I wouldn't say psychopath, only because that's not the proper term, but antisocial personality disorder for sure. Yeah, she does not have empathy for.
What's your definition of psychopath? So
antisocial person, but when I say it's not the right term, I mean that like if somebody says they've been diagnosed as a psychopath, they didn't talk to a real medical professional, because a medical professional is not going to diagnose you as a psychopath or a sociopath. They're going to say that you have antisocial personality disorder or malignant narcissist.
In psychopath, they say a person affected by chronic mental disorder with abnormal or violent social behavior.
Yes, which is what will happen if you Google it. I just mean that literally.
You mean in the DID?
Yeah.
I mean in the DSM.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's not in the DSM. Like, you can't. If you were like, "Can I get diagnosed as a psychopath?" They'd be like, "I can diagnose you as a malignant narcissist," which basically means that. But there's no diagnosis
that is
psychopath.
The DSM, you know what that is?
It's a diagnostic statistic manual.
Being gay was under
in the
Yeah,
DSM. Yeah,
they took it out, and then they put. I think being black was.
I was about to say having a period was in the DSM.
Yeah.
Your PMS.
Oh yeah, PMS.
PMS was in because of Freud.
Yeah.
He was doing like experiments on women. He was like masturbating them. And
Yes,
all
he thought that the way to cure their hysteria was just by endless masturbations.
Yeah, playing with them.
Did it work?
No.
No.
It's really crazy that Freud is still like
Still
so renowned because he was a psychopath.
So he's no, for real. He was a menace. He's often regarded as the father of psychology, not because he made up everything, but because everyone wanted to prove him wrong so bad that they just started studying so much. They're like, you said that we want to fuck our parents, bro. Let me go study. What did you study? I need to go restudy that because there's no way you're right. And he wasn't, but you know. But we all wonder if he has some.
I mean, it's all
we wonder now if he had a little bit of truth to that.
No, for real. I mean, it hasn't been disproven.
No, I mean, yeah, it hasn't exactly been disproven. It just hasn't been reproven, for so to speak.
I guess because psychopath, it could be labeled like everybody could basically claim it, like since
it's like a spectrum.
Whatever society consider normally, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's why it's not something you could be diagnosed as. I say malignant narcissist because malignant pretty much means like intentionally harming, and then narcissism is, I mean, it's actually sad because what it means is my mom is so fundamentally traumatized that she can't empathize. Like she wants to. I've seen her try. She can't even make herself cry. Like it's sad. So and it didn't even occur to me until I saw my aunt crying while I was talking about being sexually assaulted in the therapy session, and I went, oh my God, I have never seen this. My mom's never cried in front of me. She fake cried one time when she was fake getting me arrested, but she's never actually cried in front of me, even at her brother's funeral. So, like, putting pieces together and realizing, oh, you just literally couldn't understand, versus my dad, who's hyper empathetic, and that was pretty much why he was able to cascade by while not saying much, is that he can still make you feel like, I feel you, man. And just be like, yeah, you do.
Without explanation.
He
does feel me.
He does feel me, you know? And then he would say stuff sometimes, even if it was simple, you know, he would tell a story or something. It's very sage-like, very profound. And he would just leave you going, wow.
How do you know your mom is fake crying though? Like she's no tears
fake
coming
crying?
out?
I didn't see her face. Like I'll do exactly what she did. So like I don't know. She fake arrested me because I used to shoplift a lot. I still do sometimes, but I don't believe in not stealing from corporations. So that's a different story. But anyways, I'm taking things from Marshalls, and she caught me, made put everything back. But then, like, was upset about it because she couldn't get me to stop. So she had threatened me. One of the last times it happened, she was like, you know, I can only protect you so much. You know, one day the cops are going to get involved. And, you know, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do. So I'm at the house one summer day. Doorbell rings. Cops at the door. It's just me and my mom in the house. I open the door and I'm like, hello? And he's like, are you so-and-so? I was like, yes. He was like, is your mom home? I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, okay. Can you bring her down here? And then I did. My mom was like, what's going on? And the cop was like, yeah, so we've had a warrant out for her arrest for like a year, and we lost it, but we just found it this morning, so I'm here to serve it. And I was 15 at the time, so it didn't really sound right, but again, there's a cop standing in front of me, so I'm like, okay. And then she's like, wait, what? And then she walks around to the dining room. When she's on this side, she walks around on this side, cops on this side. She sits down. She's like, can we just talk about this, please? And they talk for a little bit, and then pretty much, she's like, is there anything I can do? You know, I'm a doctor. And he was like, no. And then, you know, he turns me around, starts handcuffing me. You know, you have the right to remain silent. I'm sitting there like, oh my God. My mom goes, what? And she goes, wait. Wait, can I talk to you for a second? And then they get up and they walk around the corner to the dining room. And I can't hear them, I can't see them. I'm just sitting there in the chair like, oh my God, like, am I being arrested right now? And then he comes out from behind the corner and he goes, yeah, so you just gotta be really grateful for your mom. She's a great doctor. And it turns out that I was her patient a couple of months ago. Didn't know that till just now. So because she was such a great doctor then, I am gonna do you a favor and I'm gonna uncuff you right now. I'm gonna take it home and see if I can reverse the warrant. I'm not sure if I can do that, but if I can, then you know you're free to go. But at least for the next week, be aware that you could be sent to juvenile detention. And so my mom was like, "Thank you so much, officer. Thank you so much." And then he walked away, and I was like, "Okay." And mind you, for 5 days before that, she'd been treating the house like prison. So I wasn't allowed to eat anything except bread and water. I wasn't allowed to leave the house after certain times. I had to be up by a certain time. She had to do free manual labor in her garden in the hot summer. Goddamn. So I was like, okay, so you've been treating me like it's prison. Now I just randomly got arrested. Been not arrested. And now you're like, man, I guess since you almost got arrested, I can stop doing prison now. But my dad had also just got back home. So I was like, did he say something to you about how this is probably abusive as fuck and you should stop? And so you came up with a really crazy way to stop it instead of just being like, I'll stop it. Because my dad, I remember when she was talking about it in the car, he was, not only was he not stressed, but he also didn't say anything about that being a real thing. He was just like, we just gotta pray. And then my mom was like, yeah, thank God that, you know, that happened, that he knew me, that he recognized me. And I was just like, and then later I told my uncle about it. She was like, a cop can't just decide not to serve a warrant because he knows somebody. That's not how that works. I was like, that's what I thought.
Yeah, she paid him.
That's what
Right,
I thought.
like you said, I was one of her clients, and
right, like
she gave me a call.
That's what happened.
Yeah. Where was the paper?
There was no warrant. There was no physical warrant. I never saw the warrant.
I would have believed that young too, though. I would have been.
But I was still terrified because, again.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how it worked.
So do you want to have kids? Your boyfriend don't want that?
I think he does, but luckily for him, we're polyamorous, and I have no problem with him getting somebody else pregnant, but not me.
That's fair.
Your shit just wide open, ain't it? No type of.
It is. She said that.
Direction. It's just like.
Yeah.
It's just going everywhere.
He said he did joke he was gonna give me and my girlfriend 5 kids each, but it was a joke. It was a joke.
So what you do if you get pregnant?
I would
Kill it?
no. Well, I might, but I won't say. I'm not anti-abortion. I just know myself well enough to know that I doubt I'm gonna go for an abortion now that I am pregnant. Would I be absolutely terrified to give birth? Also, yes, but I have thought about that. I've thought about giving birth before. I've thought about how I want a water birth and how I want, incense burning, and I want it to be at home, and all stuff like that. So I thought about that stuff if I need to, but in general, I don't want kids until I'm both financially and emotionally stable enough to not fuck them up in any way.
You'll probably be a good mom though because you've been traumatized by your mom.
Yeah, I'm like, nah, I wouldn't.
You're like, I'm not gonna do this to you.
But I'm also worried about going the extreme and not
being disciplined enough.
It's like I know I don't want to beat my kids. I know that I like gentle parenting and I like the different aspects I've seen of it. I can't imagine myself doing some of the things I've seen, and there are parts of my childhood I would adopt. But I do know that when it comes to publicly humiliating my child or physically assaulting them, I don't want to be doing either one of those things. So, but also because that was the only way I was disciplined, I don't know how you discipline a child otherwise.
Put them in a corner.
I did do
My
that.
nephew hates corners.
I could do the corner.
Make them have to hold that push-up position.
Yes.
Okay,
Hold some
yeah.
books.
Okay.
Just like
I think my dad did one of those, but I couldn't even, because he didn't really discipline me like that. But when I think about it, I think those are the kinds of one he did, do a wall sit for, a minute and a half.
You just got to stay true to it. And then, my man, I just know he's just going to be the worst. He's going to be the opposite of all my, curing bad stuff.
Yeah.
He was like, we going to have a problem. I'm like, no, you going to have a problem because they going to be scared of me.
I've seen a little bit of what we would be like as parents because we have 6 cats. And one of them just had kittens. So we had 3. One of them had kittens. Now we have those 3 kittens, and because we do have to discipline them sometimes, they do stuff. I'm definitely the softer one. I've noticed that like I'll spray the kittens before I'll like hit him, and then if I do hit him, it's like a tap. Versus he's gonna give him a relatively firm tap if he's like, get away from that food or something. And I'm like, hey.
See, and you over there trying to undo it. See, that's how Scab is.
That's why I'm like, yeah, if we had kids right now, I don't know.
My man will crack a joke after I been like they get in trouble and then, or he'll be like, didn't I say don't do that? But all right, come on, let's go do this. Like, bro, they are not gonna take you serious.
I'm different when it comes to like little girls, even though I ain't got no biological. It's like you don't want to hit the girls, but a boy, I beat the shit out of you.
So bad.
I never had to hit a kid. Like my voice, and then
his voice.
Yeah,
you mean the look?
I want the look. I don't have. Well, I have the look with my nephew to a certain extent because once he gets too excited, he's like, and I'm like, I'm not fucking playing with you.
It's not a joke.
Like I just had him in church, and I couldn't just give him the look because he'll chill for a little bit, but then he like, I want to do stuff. Yeah. But if I'm like, get your listen, he be like, he go sit down and like sit like he stays still. I'm like, don't make me have to do it.
So do you get worried about because usually people before they kill somebody they kill dogs first. So you
yes.
You not worried about your mom?
So no, I'm very worried about my dog. That was why I brought that up because the garlic with him is making me nervous. But what I was gonna say was that with women, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. It is usually that they like pick someone to harass or bully, usually another girl, and they just make her life a living hell. Or they, if it takes a while to develop, because like some narcissists are born, I don't think my mom was. I think that
she was made
because when I see the real glimpses of her personality sometimes, I'm like, we would be friends if the rest of that wasn't going on. But the rest of that's going on. And I know why. When she said her dad beat her every day until she was 14, whether she did something right or wrong, because he wanted to make sure she wouldn't want to do anything wrong.
That's how I want to do my kid when they come out.
Don't do that, because then she gonna turn out like my mom.
Nah, you know, like when the doctor they take it out and they pop it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be like, no, let me get her.
Especially
if it's a girl, let me get her so she know it's me. Like, that's it, just that one. I'm so trying to do it every day.
But you shouldn't have kids.
I just gotta lay down.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't have had kids. And my mom is one of 8 kids. She had 6 sisters.
Did he beat all of them?
Now that is unclear. She's one of the youngest. She's the one right before the baby. So the way she talked about it, she got like the brunt of it, especially because most of her sisters were out of the house by the time she was, But all I know is, she went through it, and I doubt she hurt any animals, but she did play with some fella's heart. She used to tell me, she used to joke about this guy she broke up with, because he clapped like this. She was like,
That's it.
That was
That's
it.
a little sweet.
That was it. So that was what she said. Yeah. But then apparently that guy later beat his wife. So she used to joke that if a guy claps like this, stay away from him because he's abusive.
His pimp hand strong.
And he like this.
I'm cracking. There ain't no turn off for her.
She broke up with another guy because his sleeves were too short.
He broke
up with another guy because his sleeves were too short.
That shirt was young.
His sleeves?
His sleeves. It was on his coat. So she was like,
oh yeah, that coat was young.
So your dad must be like a pretty motherfucker. Like
my dad, he had locks and stuff too, and he was a musician. And when I say he's been touring for 25 years, I mean as long as he's been alive, he's been doing music. Like he started playing. His name is John Stoddard. I don't think you would know him because he's the kind of known that like artists, musicians know him. Like have you heard of Jacob Collier?
I don't know.
He's the white kid that does a lot of the like synthy sounding harmonies. He won a couple Grammys last year. Either way.
Yeah, I gotta hear songs.
You see if I can find a picture of him. Either way, mind you, I'm fangirling over Jacob Collier because the rest of the world, I think he has several hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram. He met my dad in person and was like, oh my God, John Stoddard. I was like, hold on. What do you mean? What do you mean? And then my dad also will randomly do stuff like, we're talking about Stevie Wonder. Man, I love Higher Ground. It's like, yeah, Stevie, man, he's so cool. Stevie Wonder, Dad?
Call him. That would be me. Call him now.
But the thing is that when I say he's so dead ass, I mean that, like, he doesn't have Stevie's number, but he really will show us either pictures or texts, or if I'm listening to somebody, I was listening to, what's his name, does Can't Touch This?
Huh?
What's his name that did Can't Touch This?
Auntie Hammer.
Yeah. I'm minding my business one day, listening to the song, and my dad is like, "Oh yeah, no, not NC, Montel Jordan."
Oh, okay. This is how we do it.
This is how we do it. Not Can't Touch This. I'm listening to that song, or I'm watching Fighting Temptations, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Montel Jordan, he's so cool, blah blah whatever." Me and my sister are like, "Yeah, whatever." He took us to one of his concerts that was happening in wherever city we were at, and then took us backstage to hang out with him, and then we did, and he was like, "Hey John, what's up?" And was cool with him. I think we met his wife and some shit. And then every once in a while, if I'm listening to it, he'll be like, "I'm gonna send him a text real quick." And he pulls up his phone and he does. And we're just like, okay.
So you don't use your dad as an asset with your...
I would love to.
And...
You go on the road with him?
I used to when I lived there with him. I went a lot of places and performed in a lot of... The first performance I had in Atlanta was because my dad was performing here. And I went to go see him. And he was performing with Kirk Whalum. He's a saxophonist who used to tour with Whitney Houston. He's the solo on I'll Always Love You. That's who my dad's been touring with for the last 20 years. So he's in Atlanta at this jazz club performing, and I know him as Uncle Kirk, so I'm there. I see him. I go up to give my dad a hug or a cup of water or something, and he starts playing All I Do, like the intro on the saxophone. He starts walking back. He starts walking back to the stage. The club's getting hyped. He grabs my arm. And I'm like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He just starts pulling me with him. Doesn't say anything, pulling me up with him up on stage. And I'm like, okay, I don't know the words to this song. But, I got to do the chorus. I did that. I was 16. And it was a great experience. I will say that. I think I have a video on my Instagram still.
So why
it's
don't
way,
you
way back. But use him out. Like, name dropping isn't really
just
how
being
that
on the
works.
road with him, network with
I
the
can.
clubs.
I would love to. When I say I would love to, I mean the only person stopping me is my dad.
So he's not bringing you.
He's not bringing me. I was supposed to go, and at least at first, I thought that was my mom, because when I was starting to get some notoriety as a kid, like 15, 16, my dad was going to take me with him to South Africa to do some gig. My mom was like, no. Another time, at another event, Stevie Mackey, he's Jennifer Lopez's vocal coach, apparently trained under my dad or used to practice. I don't know how he knows him, but he's like, "John, whatever, this is your daughter, and, I either sang for him, he heard me sing." He was like, "You should come to my house in LA, and I'll, we can do some stuff." My parents were like, "No." So that's two events. I met, what's her name? Regina Bell? And, oh my gosh, what's the guy she was touring with? I can't remember. Point being, Shalea Frazier, I don't know if you heard her. She, was the one touring with Stevie Wonder for a year or two, but she went to Oakwood, the same church I went to. So now I'm rubbing shoulders with them. They're like, "Oh, I would love to sing with you, love to perform with you." I'm asking my dad for their numbers. He's never seen it.
But I'm saying, a lot of musicians and artists, they be fucking the shit out of like people who trying to get on. So they probably already know that.
I believe that.
Yeah.
But then why is he still rubbing shoulders with them if those are the type of people he are? Like,
he might already did his stuff.
My dad, like, granted, I've learned stuff about him now that I'm like, oh, okay. But he came here to Atlanta last year, 2 years ago, had an event here. I showed up, was there backstage with, it was at oh my gosh, it's in Middleton, it's like the Roundhouse or some kind of amphitheater kind of thing.
Some type of amphitheater.
Yeah. And so I'm there, for the gig, but mind you, when I say I have PTSD, I'm not bullshitting. I had a full episode just being there with him, because it was the first time I saw him since being kicked out. I don't know if I said that. I was kicked out when I was 17. So anyways, first time I was seeing him since that. Having PTSD, actually, I don't even know why. Because me and my dad are chill, as far as I know. But I'm vomiting in the backstage. I can't even stand up straight. I tried to drive myself home. I'm vomiting all over the steering wheel. I had to pull over, change clothes and shit. It was insane. I was like, okay. And then found out that Uncle Kirk, again, called me on the stage to sing Rescue Me with my dad. But I wasn't there. And I'm like, well, I was having an episode, so I don't even know what to do about that. That's the only incident lately that I can say where he tried to help. But again, that wasn't even him. That was his friend. And so
you should make a song with him.
I've been trying to do that since I was 16. Like, when I say I don't know what is stopping him at all. At all. We've been supposed to have done a joint album since I was 16 because we used to perform together all the time. People were like, please put something out. I'd be like, let's do this song, let's do this song, let's do this song. He's the pianist, he can arrange it, he can do all that stuff. I'd be like, here, you do this, I want it to sound like that. He's like, yeah, cool, I got you. Has all these projects. Now, maybe it's just that he himself is in a weird space in his life because he also hasn't put out an album in 10 years. But he has an album he's been sitting on for 10 years. So that's where the Rescue Me song was the project of. Maybe my mom has some kind of chokehold on him, and that's why he can't help me in the way he wants to. I would not be at all surprised. But at the end of the day, it's not for lack of trying. It's not for lack of trying.
Man, I understand. I don't know. I let stuff go after a while too, though.
That's why I stopped even asking.
I might have started the song and just sent it and been like, "Look, this is done. Finish it."
So on the album that I am doing right now, I just snagged him while I was at the house recording because he let me use the studio while I was there. So I'm recording a song. I was like, hey, Dad, you come here real quick and play on this real quick. He did. I'm keeping it. It's going on the album. That's what I did.
Right.
Because I never was able to really get him in the studio for stuff like that. And he was like, and I'll tell him, I was like, hey, if I send you this, can you do that? He's like, yeah, just let me know. I said to him, I don't know where. He's like, I'm gonna be in France this weekend. I'm gonna be in Spain next week, or I gotta go to California today, and then tomorrow I gotta go to Germany. And he's so dead ass, and he's also in grad school right now, so he's got a lot on his plate. And he's not with my mom for the first time, as far as I know, ever. Physically at least, because they're not actually separated. But I think that's what he's doing. But my mom won't let him divorce her, so he's just kind of like
trying to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, okay. Nah, you good. So what's something we haven't asked you about that our audience should know about you?
That I am releasing an album.
Okay.
I guess I did kind of sort of talk about it. But Soliloquy is the album that I am releasing right now that is going to be the most revolutionary thing I've ever done ever. It is every genre that you can think of, literally ever. I've got country, I've got like EDM, I've got pop, I've got classical, I've got old school boom bap, hip hop, rap type vibe. I've got Rico Nasty-esque, a rock, trap, whatever you call that. I've got indie soul, Jill Scott, giving you. I've got, I don't know, synth rave music. I don't even know what to call it at this point, but everything. And it's because although my motto has always been, I make the kind of music I like to listen to. You wouldn't really know what kind of music I like to listen to based on the music I have out right now because it's very tame. I made stuff that I thought people would expect me to make and that I could feel comfortable playing for my family and be like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
This time, I said, fuck that.
Yes.
There's songs about every possible thing, including my disorder. There's a song called What Day Is It? Or What Day It Is, rather. That's just about how many times a week or month I'm like, oh God, I've lost time. And there's a song about sex I wrote for the first time ever. It was pretty revolutionary for me. I wrote about my girlfriend before we met. But it's also about kink, so that's kind of revolutionary because I don't think I ever said that out loud.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I'm pairing it with music videos as well, which is why when I said in the process of releasing it, I mean that the intro is already out, and you can hear it if you go on my YouTube right now. But that by the end of this month, the first 3 songs of the album will be out, as well as the first video. And then over the next couple of weeks, the next couple of songs are gonna come out. Then by April 1st, everything will be out. I started January 1st. I'll be done April 1st. Those are the anniversaries of my last 2 projects. So it's gonna be all expansive. I want it to be visual. I want it to be shocking. I want it to be strange. I high-key want to sneak peek a song here if I can.
Oh, you want to play it?
I do. Am I able to?
I can play it on the radio if you send it to me. When you want to play it out loud, or you want to just play it on the radio? Because we don't typically play it on Literally Is No Pressure, but yeah, I could definitely play it on the radio.
Okay. I'll send it to you because it's not out on anything, but
Okay, yes.
You do gospel?
That's what I was gonna say
So,
too.
oh my gosh. So the what day it is the gospel song.
Oh, lit.
It's a cappella, but it's done in the style of like a hymn kind of. As well as my country song is bordering on the gospelness, but you're gonna get that influence regardless because that's where I grew up. That's what I grew up singing. So you're gonna get a bit of soul gospel in that, regardless of what song you're getting. But it's really, soliloquy is really all of me. It is the most expansive project I've ever done because I didn't hold myself back this time. So you're gonna get it all.
I'm here for that.
So as far as like music, like this is like for life, or this is to get to you a certain place in life.
Music is the reason I'm alive. No bullshit. Like I mentioned earlier briefly that I'm suicidal, or I've been suicidal. When I say the only thing that makes me want to be alive is the dream that the only thing I'll be doing one day is just making music, and every bit of my life will be creative, and I'm so much closer to it now than when I started this dream. So child me goes, oh my gosh, every time. Like this week to have 3 separate events connected to something creative I'm doing is virtually unheard of for a 5 years ago me. But it's my life now, and it's going to continue to be my life the more that I do it. I don't believe my purpose is anything else. I've quit jobs because I felt myself getting comfortable. I'm like, oh fuck no. Oh, absolutely not. This is not what I'm here for. If I start thinking of myself as a P.F. Chang's server as opposed to a singer who's working at P.F. Chang's to make money, then it's not too much for me now. So yeah.
That is, yeah. You want to introduce this song?
Yes, it's called Messy. It's the one I wrote about my girlfriend.
She messy?
I'm messy. I want her to make a mess of me.
Ooh. You want to close this, or we play?
Yeah, we can close it out. Literally, it's no pressure, man. Appreciate you coming through.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me. This was a time.
Okay, a time to be had.
Yeah.
It seemed like you was getting bored, so that's why I was
Bored?
like, yeah. I be noticing people by it. They be like,
No, I'm dissociating.
I feel like she was in there.
That's what I'm saying. I was just getting started.
For real. She was ready to talk.
That's my issue. Is I could really talk for too long. You might have seen me going, "Damn, am I talking for too long?"
No, that's cool because some people be like, "Oh yeah, this is my answer. Okay, what's the next one?" Like they don't really say shit. They don't expand on it. So it just be like, I'd be glad when people like speak on it. For real.
I talk literally so much all the time. My entire social media is just videos of me talking about all this stuff. Pretty much everything I talked about today.
And we out. We gonna pose like 5 seconds for the picture.